on their taxes for the timber tax. And I met with the state, I think I told you this the last meeting, and I'm going to try to meet with him because I've collected some of the information he said I should. I'm going to try to get together with him again on Thursday and then put something together to present to you as to what I think we should do regarding both of those requests. So that's it for that.
I have a question for you while you're on the logging.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you noticed that they cleaned up the lot on Lyford Road where they finished doing
Mm-hmm.
that. They put logs in front of one spot.
Yeah.
There's not an entire wall that other spot was at. I don't know if they ran out of rocks or stones.
That was because there was never a complete wall there, and I made sure they put at least back to what was there. That's why there's 4 or 5 feet of wall.
No.
The log is there. He asked, they've applied for a permanent access where that log is, and I believe through a website or somehow the forester told me that the state has granted that and that we will be getting a copy of that permanent access. So he asked if I would waive the 14 days to put the stone wall back, and I agreed because...
So there'll be 2 accesses?
Well, yes. Yeah, one was there, as you can see it's narrow. Now that they put it back, it's just one that's always been there. And then the other one will be for continued logging operations.
Okay.
The other one's not really an access, it's a break in the wall. It's not considered an access to the road.
Well, why would they want 2?
They want a permanent driveway, and the one that they had applied for a temporary driveway is a very good location and ease of access, and that's just what they requested.
So if it's granted, is that permanent, or is that just a temporary until they finish the logging and then it has to be closed?
No, they have a temporary now. That's why they were allowed to go through there. And they've applied for a permanent one, so they don't have to go for a temporary one each time they log.
Keep us appraised.
Mm-hmm.
Road agent.
We're shouldering, we cleaned up the tar scraps, shouldered most all of, Stone Road in Tibbetts Hill. Should be finished up in the next couple of days. And doing our grading up on the top side of Tibbetts Hill and Burwell. That's what we're working on now. When we're done there, we had talked about, I'm going to try before next meeting to get Mr. Badger's written permission and consent all taken care of, and we were going to go with the culvert below Mr. Burns' head wall there. But again, while we're there, I want to take care of a few other of those issues, and hopefully at the next meeting we'll have budget. I'll have all my work done to Stone Road, and we'll know what our budget numbers are, so maybe we can consider ditching all the way up through. And I know I still have other things that we got to do, but something had, when we did the guardrails on Clark Road, something had come to mind that I think needs to kind of be pushed to the top. Not necessarily the top, but before winter this year is, and that's the railroad crossing on Clark Road. It has heaved and worked enough, maybe not the tracks that heave, but the ground around it, so that the plows actually catch. We have to lift the plows to go over the railroad tracks, and then it starts packing in and building in, and if we forget, it does damage and breaks cutting edges and stuff like that, so I'd like to repair that. It should be very simple.
But the repairs are very expensive.
No, it shouldn't be.
No, I'm talking about your vehicles.
Oh, say nothing if it's no dental work when you kiss the dashboard.
We don't have a dental plan.
It's quite an adrenaline rush.
That was what I meant.
Yeah. And then, if you don't have any more comments, concerns, or questions, I have the list of equipment and associated suggested prices. And these were derived from searching things like Craigslist, equipment dealers, and the like, and taking an average. That's how I came up with it. Like, for instance, the hydraulics, plow, and plow gear off the 550, I put it on a price of $4,500. I was on a HP Fairfield set that truck up originally, and I was able to contact the man who we coordinate through, and he said, well, it's worth a little more than scrap. And I said, well, we're off to a start, but we need to talk more. And he gave me a range up to, like, I can't remember exactly, I'd have to look, but like $6,000, $6,500 in great condition. He said, but given that the truck and equipment's 10 years old and it's generally around 6 years old when it's considered worn out, it's probably not average condition. But, so I don't know what you're going to get for a price. And that is with the valve and equipment off the truck. If you had it on a pallet, that's what it would be worth. So there is some other associated costs. And in his own words, he said the last thing you want to do is leave it on the truck and not use it, because then it will be just scrap price. Front runner rake, I only found 2 of the front runner rakes for sale. One was $1,000 and the other was $2,000, so I put down $1,500. So that's how I come up with the figures. The only other thing, and I'm not sure if there's 2 more things. The torches needs some tips, and the gauge faces are broken. I believe we spent $225 or $250 for those gauges, hoses and gauges and tips. So I put down $100. I think it's a little high myself because of the condition. I just bought a used set with complete. It needs a tip, but the gauges are complete, and it has the standard hose of about 25 feet, and we have 50 for the hose. I paid $15 for mine. So, and then the last item is the old forestry truck. No glasses, I have to take a second here.
With dump body and piston, $1,200.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. I think if you...
Glasses are big.
Hey, look! I'm so used to my sunglasses being up there. It was posed to the board about $500 for the cabin chassis, and I agreed with that. I think that's fair, but I got to thinking when, you were on the board, I believe, Bill, when we took the dump body off from that. The dump body and piston and the pump to that truck are, I don't believe the town has ever sold it. So that should be available to that truck to make it a dump truck.
So where are they hiding?
They're around somewhere. I'm not going to get involved. But that would considerably increase the value of that truck.
Thank you for developing these figures for us.
Yep. And it would, on a personal note, for me, some of the things that I might be interested in, if you're going to do it, it would be nice to know before we get too close to the fall, so I can make arrangements.
Well, we have an ideal list. We talked about doing a closed bid for this stuff. We tried that once before, got nowhere. So I don't know if we want to take and accept closed bids on these items, or?
I don't know what your legal is. There's probably some legal ramification on how you, a dollar amount. I'm not sure, but you may want to just put them up for sale, list them and advertise them. Or
Minimum bid would be X amount of dollars. Or just list them and sell them for an asking price.
Is that what those numbers are based on, Ed?
average, like I said, I spent the last several weeks searching the internet and things like that, talking to people. You know, I think some of the stuff is high, but I have to be careful because some of the stuff I'm interested in, and I don't want it to appear a conflict, so I would encourage you to do your own. I can point to you where I got this information. Phil Webster from HP Fairfield was the one who gave me most of the plow gear and stuff. The front runner come off from Craigslist. Tools, like I did put a question mark for the miscellaneous tools because I have no idea what, you know, you can go to some garage sales and you can pick up mechanics tools and miscellaneous stuff pretty cheap. So.
Yeah, right down here at the antique sale. Labor Day weekend,
Yeah.
Memorial Day weekend. He's always got tools down there by the basket loads that he's letting go for relatively easy money.
Yeah, the other place for plow and plow gear and push arms and things like that is S.A. McLean over in Limerick, Maine. He's known as Snowball because he deals in all snow plowing equipment. So the information's out there.
Advertise it in the paper? Seal bids with a date?
I think that's a good way to start.
You know, all bids have to be, we have to accept the bids, or we have to notice, we gotta make note that.
I think you need to do it one way for all of it. Otherwise, somebody can walk in and say, I'll give you this, and
So we have the right to.
We have the right to reject bids.
I
I mean, if somebody comes and offers me $5 for the large sander, I mean, we don't have to accept the bid just because they put it in.
But I think we have to note that.
Okay.
Okay.
You can say all reasonable bids will be considered.
Yeah, usually a clause. The town reserves the right to accept or reject any and all bids.
Right.
Because we could change our mind all of a sudden, want one of these things. Not that we will. The tools, depends on what's, we spent a lot of money on those tools. I'll say $1,500 or something.
What's that?
I think we spent $1,500 toward tools. I don't know what's left, what's, you know.
Well, they all, I mean, with the exception of a broken screwdriver, because they get abused, they get used like chisels a lot and stuff like that. It's pretty much all there.
You'll never get new
taps, and
prices.
dials.
Oh, I know you won't. I know you. I'm not saying that you would. I'm just,
anything else? Fred?
Thank you.
Emergency management.
no, they're ready for a tornado. Or
Did you-
We had an
hurricane.
earthquake today.
Did you receive your bandages and supplies?
They're up there. I can go pick them up. I
Okay.
haven't had a chance to get up there to get them yet.
Okay. School board meets here on Wednesday in October, and I'll give you more details at a later selectmen's meeting. But I've asked specifically, I didn't realize we're a small town, but I've asked them to meet here in this building so that the people in the community do have a chance to talk to them one-on-one. We are still on schedule for opening according to the schedule we've posted. There are a lot of people working hard. We have 300 on site. As soon as school is open, they're reducing their workforce significantly because it'll allow them to focus on one area at a time. We're going to go